Good morning. The college admissions journey is changing again, and this time it's about fairness and opportunity. The College Board has announced they're stopping their landscape tool, a move that marks a big shift in how colleges look at applicants' backgrounds. This decision comes because of new laws and brings up big questions. How will colleges understand students' stories without this data? What does it mean for fairness? Today, we'll talk about what landscape was, why it's being stopped, and what it means for students and schools. As one chapter closes, colleges and students have to find new ways to make sure every applicant gets a fair shot. So what was Landscape? Landscape was a cool tool made to help colleges pick students, especially in the U.S. It was made to give a fuller picture of a student's school life and home background. This way, college admissions folks could really get why a student did well. It came out in 2016. This tool gave admissions officers details about a student's high school and neighborhood. By using info from many places, Landscape helped admissions officers see more than just grades and test scores. This tool didn't share private info, but it did show things like what a school had, what AP classes were offered, and how well off the local area was. This info included how many students took AP classes, how many got free lunch, and how much schooling parents in the area had. The goal? To help colleges see the difference between two students with similar grades but very different chances. For example, two students with the same grades might come from schools with very different stuff, or from very different money situations. By making this background info standard, Landscape aimed to make things fair for students from less lucky backgrounds. This tool helped make sure students who faced bigger challenges still had a fair shot at getting into their dream college. Hundreds of colleges used it to compare applicants more fairly and easily. With Landscape, picking students became clearer and more fair. It was never about giving an unfair edge, just about seeing the whole story. Landscape helped admissions officers understand each student's special journey, without being unfair. For many, this became a key part of picking students in a full way. So, Landscape became a very helpful tool in making college admissions more open and fair for all students hoping to get in. Landscape provided two main types of data: high school statistics and neighborhood context. This included things like free lunch rates, AP participation, local income, and education levels, but never race or ethnicity. The College Board designed it to be race-neutral, focusing on socioeconomic and geographic factors. The idea was to highlight students who achieved despite big obstacles without breaking any laws. This approach was meant to promote fairness while avoiding the legal issues of race-based data. Ironically, this race-neutral design is now at the heart of why it's being stopped. A 2023 Supreme Court decision ended race-based affirmative action in college admissions. Colleges can no longer directly consider race, but they can still look at how life experiences shape an applicant. This made tools like Landscape seem even more important, offering a legal way to consider context. Many schools relied on Landscape to keep diversity without breaking the law, but the legal world kept changing, and new problems popped up. What seemed like a perfect solution quickly became a legal risk. The College Board's decision to end Landscape surprised many, given its clear value. So why did it end? After the Supreme Court's decision, states started to go after not just race, but any information that could be a stand-in for race, including neighborhood and money-related info. Critics said that because of how things are separated, even race-neutral information could be seen as indirectly considering race. The College Board faced more and more legal threats and possible lawsuits for colleges that used Landscape. To protect themselves and their partners, they decided to stop using the tool. Even good-hearted efforts to be fair have become a legal minefield. Colleges had mixed feelings about the Landscape tool. Many found it really helpful for finding high-achieving students from tough backgrounds, especially after affirmative action ended. Supporters saw it as a way to make sure every student's achievements were looked at with their whole situation in mind. But some critics felt it was too simple. It turned students into just a few facts and risked creating new stereotypes. The public not understanding it didn't help. Some worried it was a hardship score that would hurt privileged students. For some schools, it ending was a loss. For others, it was a chance to try new ways of doing things. With Landscape gone, many fairness advocates are worried that it will be harder for students from disadvantaged backgrounds to be seen in the college selection process. Landscape used to give a picture of the challenges students faced beyond their grades, like their economic situation, school environment, and access to resources. Without this tool, many student stories and struggles might just be missed by colleges. Now, colleges have to find new ways to understand applicants' life situations, often with limited resources and little time. This process becomes more complicated because there's no longer a standard that helps them fairly judge a student's background. Smaller schools, which might not have big admissions teams, will face bigger challenges. As a result, the selection process could go back to relying too much on test scores and GPAs, which tend to help students from wealthier families who have access to tutoring or extra facilities. The burden of explaining life's difficulties now falls entirely on the students. They have to tell their stories through personal essays, without any standard data to back up their stories. This can be a lot of pressure, especially for students who aren't used to writing or don't have guidance. The application process also becomes more stressful and feels less fair. Many students feel anxious, worried that their experiences and struggles won't be valued enough just through a short piece of writing. Getting rid of landscape also brings up a big question. How do colleges measure and value a student's toughness, fighting spirit, and potential that isn't always shown in numbers or official achievements? If there aren't new efforts to fairly judge context, the risk is that the gap between lucky and unlucky students will grow wider, and the chance for social mobility through education could become harder to reach. The College Board isn't giving up on fairness, they're just changing their approach. Now, they're making new tools that follow the rules and don't act like they're picking people based on race. They'll focus on bigger information, like how well students do on the SAT and AP tests, to help schools get better overall. New ways of doing things might let students show what they're good at and tell their own stories directly. The College Board will work with legal experts to make sure future tools can't be challenged. Their goal is still the same, to help all students show what they can do, even when the rules are changing. The end of landscape is part of a bigger change in college admissions. Now, the old system that decided who got in is being questioned. Many people are wondering, how can we make sure that every student, no matter where they come from, has an equal chance to get accepted? This change means colleges have to rethink how they look at what students can do and what they've achieved. With fewer tools to help with diversity, colleges have to get creative. They're focusing more on essays, reaching out to students, and making tests optional. They're starting to find new ways to really get to know applicants, like expanding their outreach programs to schools they didn't reach before, and letting students express themselves through writing and personal stories. The talk now is about what we value, what someone has done in the past, or what they can do in the future. Numbers or stories? Are test scores and grades still the most important thing? Or are life stories, challenges faced, and dreams shared in essays more meaningful? These questions are at the heart of discussions in admissions offices. Admissions officers need to dig deeper, reading between the lines to understand each applicant. They're not just looking at numbers, but also trying to find the meaning behind every story, every experience, and every reason written down. This process needs understanding, carefulness, and an open mind to different backgrounds. For students, being real is key. Telling your unique story is more important than ever. Every life experience, good or bad, becomes part of the story that makes them who they are. Students are encouraged to speak honestly about their journey, their values, and the dreams they want to achieve. The future will be shaped by new ideas and adapting, because everyone is looking for a fairer system. Colleges keep trying new methods, using technology, and building places that support diversity and including everyone. This change isn't just about rules, but also about culture and how we think. The challenge, building a fair process that includes everyone. Only with shared effort, open talks, and the courage to try new things can we create an admissions system that truly embraces every student's potential, no matter their background.